Alright, let's go. Alright, what's up, everybody? I'm back with another video. This is what if Deku was experimenting on part 7, I think. And I guess we'll just get into it. So, last part, where did I leave off? Yeah, last part, I'm pretty sure Deku, and Bakugo, they fought All Might, but Bakugo didn't fight. And I'm pretty sure Deku showed off 100% of his strength. So yeah, we're just gonna eat off from there. So I'm gonna say only Principal Nezu, Aizawa, Recovery Girl, and All Might are like the only adults there left. Like the other teachers, they finished up and left. And I'm gonna say Nezu told them to because he wasn't wanting any of the teachers finding out. So Nezu and All Might only want the class and Aizawa to see Deku's full strength and what else Deku wants to talk about. So, of course, there comes a time. So Deku is still standing there as All Might announces their victory, while everyone else stands in shock. Like they're like, "Oh, what just happened?" And then Bakugo, he snaps out of it and gets frustrated, and then gets like furious and sprints at Deku with explosions, screaming like, "Why did he hide the power like ever since the beginning?" And I'm gonna say Deku allows Bakugo to hit him with the explosions, and like when Bakugo does, he just stares at Deku and like asks why he didn't tell anyone. So Deku struggles to speak and then replies by saying he wasn't supposed to show anyone. Which oof. So oh man, okay. I can't make I don't know. So Nezu tells the rest of the class to go to the arena next to Deku and like Bakugo and All Might. So when everyone gets there, they wait for Deku to say something because none of them are saying nothing. Like they're all quiet. So I would say finally Deku turns his body to face them, but his head's still down because he still doesn't want to like say anything. So the class feels that Deku is trying his best to like hold back emotions, but Deku finally decides to look up, and everyone knows that Deku is trying his best to not let out like I don't know, he's like struggling to like speak is what I'm saying. Like they know how like they understand how badly Deku's been trying to hide whatever he's hiding. So All Might tells Deku to take his time and breathe. So a minute of silence goes by, I'm gonna say, and Deku talks by saying he didn't want them to see his power, but that he's grown on them as a whole. Like he admits that he's starting to get like attached to the class. So he proceeds to say that it's very rare for him to get attached to people, but Bakugo stares and nods, letting everyone know that it's true because not Deku's always been like, no, he's cold blooded. He ain't getting attached to no one, but all of a sudden he is. So shoot. Deku looks at All Might and Nezu and says that he wants to tell him everything. So they both hesitate and then tell the class that what Deku is about to say, it has to be kept a secret at all costs. And I'm gonna say like because everyone is one suspicious, curious, and like kind of like care for Deku since they all look up to him. They say they will, and they let them know that they can be trusted. So even Bakugo, who has calmed down now, it does the same. And after that, Deku lets out a few like just a little bitty tears, like the manly tears, but and then he chuckles saying like that he hasn't felt emotions before. So he says that like he truly does care for him, but then he starts to like take a deep breath and tells a story about everything, including his other quirks, except for the torture part, because of course like he can't say anything about that. So after he finished speaking, it was quiet for 2 more minutes because that's a lot to take in. So Bakugo then says like that he knew something was up with Deku, but like and it all made sense. Like he understands like that the story is true. So Bakugo walks up to Deku, putting his anger against Deku aside, and puts his hand on his shoulder, saying Deku should have like told him in the beginning before UA started. And at this point, Deku doesn't know what to feel, so he just another tear goes down, and he doesn't know how to get rid of him, so it's just there. So Bakugo turns around, walking towards the wall to lean on because he's still trying to comprehend of like what he was just told about Deku. And I'm gonna say Uraraka because why not? She speaks up and tells Deku that it's okay and they're all friends and how like they look up to Deku for inspiration. So she then tells Deku that she's sorry for like how hard it must have been for him to like keep a secret all of his life, and none of them deserve like to care for it. I mean, but deserve his care is what I'm trying to say. And I'm gonna say like other people agree with her. Like they're all like, "Oh yeah, like why we didn't deserve that? Like you're amazing." And then they're just trying to cheer him up. So everyone else says like what they want to, and it in the end like they all accept Deku even more as an inspiration to follow because yo that's insane. And days go by as their break started, and the class decided to do like a little swim in the pool. I'm gonna say. And they thought they all needed it, like after what they went through, I guess. Oh shoot, it's hot in this room, bro. And if I turn on the fan, it's just gonna create a loud noise, which gets in the way of. Yeah, okay, I could deal with it. So I'm gonna say they invited Deku as well, and he went. So they all they've all been oof. They've all been getting closer as friends more and more since Deku's confession. And Bakugo still sees Deku as a challenge to overcome, even though he has all these quirks and like powers. So they have their fun, and then they went to the mall for supplies as like canon before the camp trip. So they all go and like get their own things, and Deku gets left alone and just sits down waiting for the others to get back. And Deku senses that someone is approaching him, and he reveals who it is. Shigaraki. Shigaraki grabs Deku and tries to talk to him. Deku lets Shigaraki put his hand on him and gives him like the chance to say whatever. So Shigaraki first lets Deku know that he's still annoyed about his arm and that he had to wait for a whole month before it got healed. So midway through, Shigaraki asks Deku if he feels vulnerable that he can't do anything to protect himself. And bro, Deku he doesn't care. He knows like Deku's like, man, this dude must really be an idiot. Hmm. I'll message you afterwards. Um, let's see. So, do. Where was I at? Dang it. Yeah. So Deku looks up at him and says he's heard enough and that he already messed up. With Shigaraki at first, he gets like, wait, what? And then Deku just put a tracker, like he put his tracker quirk on Shigaraki, and Deku doesn't care about those he doesn't care about. So Deku grabs Shigaraki's arm that was holding him and squeezes it. He squeezes it like it's Play-Doh, to be honest. Like, yo, it's Play-Doh to him. And he's like, oh, do you like the arm now? So Shigaraki screams in pain, and Deku gets up, punching him into a wall. And I'm gonna say Deku walks menacingly towards him, and Kirigiri, yeah, Kirigiri, right? Yeah, he pops up to teleport Shigaraki away as Deku planned. Wait, shoot, like, yeah, Deku's smart, so I guess yeah, he did plan it. What else? What else can I say? Deku, I'm gonna say Deku looked around and seen that everyone was staring at him in fear. Like people started to realize it was the kid like, then people started to realize it was the kid that won the sports festival, and that he was just attacked by a villain. So some people called the police saying like there was a villain attack, and others were whispering to each other, asking like how Deku knew there was a villain. So time goes by, and everyone left the mall forcefully due to like the attack. All Might and Deku, they show up to speak with the higher ups later about what happened. And Deku tells All Might and the higher ups how he lured Shigaraki in, then used him as a tracking device. So All Might asked like what he means by that. And I would say Deku tells them that all that, yeah. Okay, I still can't speak. Deku tells them all that he let Shigaraki rant about what he wanted to, as he used his tracking quirk to place on Shigaraki. And All Might grins and tells Deku that he is a genius, first of all, then asks like if he can have the locations. So the higher ups, they allow Deku to give All Might the location because it's All Might, and tell Deku that he did a good job, like praising his efficiency for a few seconds because they still don't respect him. And Deku writes down the location for All Might, and All Might says like he will have a meeting on how they will infiltrate their base. So Deku tells All Might to message him when they're planning is on going. Wait, yeah, when they're planning on going. And they all ask Deku um, why, and Deku just tells them that he has a feeling Shigaraki is working with All for One. All Might agrees, as like he had the same theory for a while, and tells Deku that he'll let him know when the plans are done. So the higher ups tell Deku that they are satisfied with his progress and award him with no experiments for the next month. And I'm gonna say Deku bows and thanks him though without emotions because he still doesn't care. The only time he's let out emotions is with his classmates. And All Might gets happy about it but doesn't say anything. So the next day, I'm gonna go ahead and make it. Yeah, okay. So the next day, everyone went back to the school and they waited for the bus for the camping trip. Ooh, why did I get a heartburn? I haven't eaten anything. Oh man, I hate random heartburns, bro. And I don't have anything to drink right now. It kind of sucks. But yeah, can we get part four today? No, I'll do. Oh shoot, yo, here, wait, who are you? Jordan Thompson. Um, nah, I don't want to do part four today. I'll do it. I'll do it. Should I say next video? Yeah, okay. The next, not today, but the next time I upload. Yeah, sure. I'm planning on doing another video today. Hopefully it comes out. But yeah, I'll do it later. I'm just, trying to think of it. But where was I at? There's your answer question. I mean, there's your question answered. But the next day, everyone went back to school and they waited for the bus. So the bus shows up and Ozawa tells them to get on. They arrive to an area with a black car on it, and they get out the bus because they made it in an instant, because why not? So Deku senses that they're the Pussycats and lets everyone know who they are. So Aizawa gets impressed by Deku and remembers that Deku just knows everything, so there's no point. And I'm gonna say they show up, like the Pussycats, they show up and tell them to go into the forest and meet up at the spot miles away. And everyone but Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo, like they run to the bus, but then they fall down the mountain because they ain't trying to get through that. So everyone gets mad and that they have to travel. But Deku tells them that he'll see them there. And he just teleports away. So the class gets angrier and starts going through the forest. I'm gonna say hours later go by and they see Deku eating rice. Bakugo walks up to Deku and slams his hand on the table, saying that Deku took the easy way out. And Deku just looked at him and said he didn't see a reason wasting his time, and just handed Bakugo a bowl of rice. So I would say Bakugo just sat down and ate the rice, and so did everyone else because they were still mad at him. But it just happened. So they eventually, I'm gonna say, yeah, okay. So after they finish eating, they relax and rest until the next day. So yeah, the day goes by, and when they woke up, they instantly were like put into training. So I'm gonna say everyone was excited, but then instantly knew it was bad. So Deku was actually like he was the only one who was actually excited, but didn't express it because of course, now that everyone knows, he can finally train 100%. And I'm gonna make it so the Pussycats in class 1B, Deku doesn't show them his full power because no, it's only his class. So yeah, so as they start, Deku decides to train with Todoroki since he doesn't have to hide his powers around him anymore, and yeah, just to work on his elements. So at first, Deku only used his fire and lightning, but when Todoroki used his ice quirk, it created like a slightly transparent line going towards Deku. And that's never happened. So both Todoroki and Deku didn't know like what it was, but then Deku tried to activate his fire, but ice appeared instead, and the line disappeared, I'm gonna say. So that was weird. Todoroki got confused, I'm gonna say, and but Deku explained that it was probably his body. Or no, his body probably had like a reaction to his ice and awakened Deku's ice quirk. Here, hold on. Alright, I'm back. Where was that? Alright, I think it was so yeah, Deku just got his ice quirk. I'm gonna say Deku just thanked Todoroki and they kept sparring together. And Todoroki still finds it like strange, like his story, like Deku's. But when the day was over, I'm gonna say everyone just was destroyed physically and mentally, except for Deku, of course. So the class just went to sleep early. But Deku, I'm gonna say he decides to follow the kid that was in the background mainly because I don't think I brought him up yet. So Kota was walking to his safe place on a mountain. Heartburn. I love it. And I'm gonna say Deku just hid behind the boulder to like listen in because this boy's a detective. But Deku just listens as he hears like Kota crying, and Deku opens his eyes and decides to walk up to him. So Kota yells first of all, like when he sees Deku, telling him to go away. But Deku just goes next to him and sits down beside him. So Kota realizes that no matter how much he tells Deku to leave, he just wouldn't. So Deku sees Kota give up, and then he starts to speak. Deku asks like why he hates heroes. I'm gonna say as he like says it, he looks like forward at the night sky because he just wants to know. I guess I don't know. Looks alright, but Kota responds by saying there's no point of them since they're just risking their lives. So Deku tells Kota that like heroes are only risking their lives because they want to be there for others that seek for help. And Kota gets angry because Deku has a warming voice that makes him want to pay attention to him. Which, you got a voice like that, and that's insane. I wish I had that voice. My voice sucks. But he also gets angry and yells at Deku, saying that they decide to leave and give up everything just to help people they don't know. I'm gonna say at this point, Deku looks at Kota, who has watery eyes, and says that Kota's parents were most likely good people and they had good hearts. So he knew about Kota's parents, and Kota starts to cry as like Deku puts his hand on his shoulder, looking back at the sky. A bit later, oh shoot, I can't think straight. Oh jeez, shoot. Hmm. Okay, yeah, I think I'm good now. So a bit later, Deku left him, like, let him be, and Kota's starting to think about what Deku said. So before Deku rests, I'm gonna say he messages All Might to like learn more details about the plan. So All Might responds by saying they're almost done, and it'll be done by maybe 1 or 2 days. So Deku tells All Might about his new ice quirk, and they just talk a bit more. Then Deku goes to bed. So I can't speak. The next day, Deku spars with Todoroki and Bakugo, this time at once to test his fighting skills. And I would say Bakugo and Todoroki were no match against Deku, but their teamwork was on point. So after they spend the whole day sparring, the class was told about the courage course, which, if you remember that episode, you know what's about to go down. So I would say Deku wasn't paired up with anyone, but knew something was up. So Deku let his classmates and Aizawa know that he was sensing another presence in the area. And Aizawa and the others, like, they took it in mind and kept on guard. So when the villains started to attack, Deku, I'm gonna say he instantly went 100% and went after them. So Deku took out the poison villain and helped out the Pussycats. So I'm gonna say the one, what was it? The one hero's name. I forgot her name, but I'm gonna say she doesn't lose her quirk because Deku was like, you ain't doing that. So after he helped them out, he then felt Kota was in trouble. Well, yeah, Kota was in trouble, and he got angry real quick. Hmm. Yeah. So Deku placed his tracker. I'm gonna say, yeah, yeah. So when they were talking, I'm gonna say Deku placed his tracker quirk on Kota because you might as well. So Deku started to have like green bluish fire come out of his eyes this time and had lightning coming off of him. So he teleported to Kota and seeing he was being attacked by Muscular. And with Deku seeing him, he knew that he was the one who killed Kota's parents, I'm gonna say. And Deku looked at Kota and told him to avenge his parents because he knows that he's probably been wanting it for a while. What is going on? I don't know. Yeah, let me just finish it off. So Kota still has tears on his face, but understood what Deku was saying, and I'm gonna say Deku helped out Kota get a hit on Muscular, but after the hit landed, Deku also sprayed water that drilled a hole through Muscular, and Deku was confused and thought to himself he awakened another quirk, but felt something was off. So Deku quickly snaps out of it, and he sees that Muscular was getting up, like regenerating. So Deku just moves in forward and punches him through 3 mountains, killing him. I'm gonna just straight up say killing him. So Kota didn't see the kill, but knew Deku won. So Deku just teleported Kota away to the others that were with Aizawa, and Deku was told the situation and went for Bakugo. I'm gonna say Aizawa overheard a villain talking about finding Bakugo. So Deku teleported to Bakugo and told him he had to stick with him because they're looking for him. And Bakugo does so, but Todoroki gets attacked by the teeth villain, and Deku just one punches him. And at this point, Deku starts to get angrier, letting off more fire in his eyes and lifting the ground around him. But he turns to Bakugo and Todoroki and teleports them to Aizawa. So Deku tells him to keep Bakugo safe while he helps everyone else out. And you already know, they do. So Deku helps everyone else, including Class 1B. But he only shows his strength quirk. He doesn't show like the rest of them when he's around them. And Deku sends Toga through the forest, killing her when he sees her attacking Uraraka and Tsuyu. Which, yeah, she's dead. She's plain up dead. There ain't gonna be nothing else with her. She's dead. And they thank him and see Tokoyami with Dark Shadow controlling him. And Deku sends off a fire-sized mountain towards him because he ain't messing with that. And I'm gonna say Dark Shadow goes back into Tokoyami. So Deku feels that something else is bad and teleports everyone back to Aizawa. I'm gonna say Deku goes beyond in his rage at this point when he sees Aizawa being attacked by Dabi and twice. So I'm gonna say his eyes turn white with no pupil at this point, making the trees around him rip out of the ground and lets off a scream that goes for miles. So Deku kills them both in a flash and sees Kirigiri in the corner of his eyes. And yeah, I'm gonna say Deku does kill Davian twice, and I'll probably get that on the next part. But yeah, so when Kirigiri sees Deku, that boy did. He teleported away, and everyone else that was alive, like every villain. So before they all teleported, though, I'm gonna say Mr. Compress let Deku know he failed by showing Bakugo to Deku one last second before they were teleported away. And oof, before Deku does his next move, I'm gonna say his phone goes off, where like next to his bed, with All Might saying they're going to the base right now. And I think I'll leave it off there because I ain't feeling it right now. I was honestly planning on not uploading today, but I was like, dang, bro, I gotta upload something. But yeah, as you can tell, I just don't feel like it. Like it's too hot in this room, like bro. I'll do a Monday upload though. So yeah, just yeah, look out for that. I'll probably do 2 uploads that day because I was thinking about doing 2 today, but nah, I just can't. I don't feel like it. So yeah, I'm gonna say in the next part of this though, like this experiment is gonna be Deku's purpose is gonna be completed in the next part. But for the next 2 videos I'm gonna post, it's probably gonna be God of War 4, like part 4, of course. And I'm gonna say Demon Slayer, like what if Deku was a Demon Slayer part 3, which that one's too slept on. Like you guys should watch it because in this part I'm thinking about doing something. But yeah, so part 4, God of War, it's gonna be good. I already got it planned out and everything, but yeah, I guess with that out of the way, outro. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys have a good one. Remember, don't be an Ida, and peace out.